Good morning everybody. Today I'm in the Peak District and I'm at a very popular location. This is the Roaches, and if you ever do any kind of research on the Peak District, you'll probably get something similar to this scene, but probably with a bit better light. Really need to work on my forecasting skills because that's east, that's where the sun is meant to be rising right now. I'm hoping a gap comes through before the golden hour ends, but who knows. Now, if you're wondering why I've come to such a popular location, there are a lot of advantages in doing this, and it can really help you develop your photography. There are some disadvantages as well, so stick around because I'll talk about those a little bit later. Now, it's really interesting coming to this location after seeing photographs of it. I know there's a composition here because people have photographed it already, but I'm trying to find different compositions within this scene. So I took one further down the bottom with the wall and the gap in the wall where there used to be a gate. I came up here, I got a bit of the heather in the shot and the wall, and then I took a close-up of just the roaches without anything else in the scene. We've got this wall, which is a nice leading line. There's a dirty, great big path there. There's a few other smaller, more subtle paths as well. With this scene right now, I'm shooting at 28mm. I've got a bit of grass in the foreground. I've hidden the path by dropping the camera down a little bit. I've still got this wall as a leading line, and the wall runs down nicely to this first rocky outcrop. And then that takes you to this other rocky outcrop that's just behind my head. So even though people have photographs of it and it's very popular, you can still work on your own compositions and you can still develop that skill yourself. Knowing there's a composition here is a great help. Now, just looking at that shot, this rocky wall and this first outcrop just seems a bit dominant across the middle of the frame. So I think I'm going to raise the tripod up just to drop it in the frame a little bit and probably bring it a little bit closer to that lower thirds. I'm going to tilt it back because there's this bit of heather down here. So I just want to get rid of that. Somewhere about there. Now, this isn't going to win any awards, but it is fun going through this process of finding a composition. And you can learn a lot from being at a popular location like this as to why others have chosen a similar or different composition to what you've settled on. Now, another reason for coming to a place like this that is so popular in photography is like it's listening to your favorite song. You might have done some research on the area, you might see a shot that you really like, and you might want to get one for yourself. It's like putting your favorite song on the radio. It's like learning to play your favorite song on a guitar or a piano or any kind of musical instrument. It's familiar. You know that there's a shot there, so you know when you get there, you could be rewarded if the light's good. Even on a day like today, I'm sure one or two of the photographs I get will be quite nice. They might not be portfolio-worthy photographs, but they'll be okay photographs. And again, spending time behind my camera, and I'm learning the process of photography. Now, as a photographer, you probably research the location, and then you probably see the really good photos of those spots. Maybe on your Instagram site, maybe on 500px or Flickr, you also see really good shots of that location. However, to the average Joe, they might not have seen it in its best light. So all of your friends that aren't photographers, when you show them that photo of that location, they'll be wowed by it. And this might not be the most genuine way of developing your photography, but it kind of gives you a boost in your confidence and it gives you a boost in your motivation. One thing I do encourage is once you get that photo that looks really good, is have a hunt around and see what else you can find. And that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm probably gonna go to the top of this rocky ridge. And actually, that's another thing. You only see what that popular view is. And coming to the location, you get to see what's behind it. On the Roaches, I thought that this shot was at the top. And in fact, there's a whole load of other stuff behind this as well. It's always a tricky situation when you're at a location, there's a few gaps in the cloud coming through. Do you sit and wait and be patient, or go for a walk and try and find other compositions? I always struggle with this. And if you do, let me know in the comments below. It'd be great to hear your thoughts. What normally happens is I go for a walk and the scene lights up perfectly. And then if I stay at the scene, it just stays in cloud and it stays all dark and gloomy. But every now and then it does break through. So sometimes it's worth waiting for. I think at the moment I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for another 10-15 minutes and see what we get. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to happen, so I'm going to go for a walk. There's bits of sunlight hitting that ridge over there. I'm hoping maybe if I get up to a vantage point, I can find some different photographs and use the telephoto to pick out different things. Like I've said in my previous videos, I love this dappled light where there's just a few gaps in the clouds. There's a sprinkling of bits of sun on a scene. When you get to really high points like this, it's absolutely fantastic. Inevitably, as a photographer and as a landscape photographer, especially doing sunrises, you'll spend a lot of time on your own. Now, coming to popular locations is great because you're more than likely to bump into other photographers that are doing the same. You can make friends, you can have a chat to them, and you never know, you might get some local knowledge off them to give you some other locations and other compositions in the area. How cool is this landscape? It's just rocky outcrops everywhere and boulders that have fallen off. Sure, there are some more photographs here, but it's just finding them. So just as I come away from that one spot, the sunlight's right on it. I think I've got a composition here that's kind of funky. Let's see if I can get it. I think I got it, I'm not 100% sure. I've actually just spotted another good one that way as well, so I'll grab that one as well. I initially thought that this would be a nice frame, but then I zoomed out and went there and got these two tall trees in as well. I think the light would be coming behind this tree in here from a sunset, so this would work at sunset. So this is another great thing in coming to these popular locations. You'll come to the location, get the shot, but then go searching for other shots. And think about where the sun is going to be at sunrise and where it's going to be at sunset. I'm on the westerly facing side now, so I'm going to be in the shade when the sun does finally come out. But I'm just scouting for locations now. Sunrise has been and gone, so it's just a case of having a look around and seeing what we can find. I had to come back to it. There's a nice bit of light coming through between the clouds. The next thing to think about is who are you taking the photographs for? Are you taking it for likes on social media, or are you taking them for yourself? Now, I'd like to think that I'm always taking the photographs for myself, but I'd be a liar if I was saying that. Sometimes I'll be taking a shot and I'll think, well, I'll take it portrait orientation just in case it's a good shot for Instagram. That's my confession for this week. Now, hats off to you if you aren't that kind of person, but with the influence of social media these days, it does have an effect on our photographs. Now, I went off on a bit of a ramble then, but my main point being is that if you're taking photographs for yourself, by all means go to all of these popular locations and get the photographs that you want. It doesn't matter that someone else has got them. You might just have a small bit of time off from work, you might have the morning off, or it might be the weekend, and you haven't got time to go off hunting for compositions. As for the disadvantages, you might like to be out on your own and have some peace and quiet. If you do find there are lots of people at the location you've planned, this might not happen. Also, sometimes people will walk in and through your frame, especially if there's a path going through it. Or they might want to stand where you are, so you could end up standing shoulder to shoulder with others. I don't mind this, but introverts might struggle. At the end of the day, if you're enjoying photography, that's all that really matters. Coming to a really popular place like this, you can hone in different skills and you don't have to worry too much about composition. And on the other hand, you can see what other people have done with their compositions. You can learn so much off other people's photographs, and then you can get your own. And that's the main thing. As long as you're enjoying photography and you're getting something out of it, who cares what anyone else thinks?